Let's start with a mystery. World War II is going on. People are dying. Armies are fighting for power. But one world leader goes on the radio in 1940 to praise a smaller nation, Greece. Why is this? With all the turmoil in the world, why would the British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, take the time to talk about the Greeks? In this radio broadcast, Churchill said that the world was astonished by Greek bravery and that hence, we will not say that Greeks fight like heroes, but that heroes fight like Greeks. As this documentary will show, the Greeks used the power of no, in Greek, oihi. When threatened by the Italians and Germans, ordinary Greeks created collective resistance that led them to victory in World War II. Greeks compromised with each other to win this conflict. A Greek folk song written during the war, entitled "The Children of Greece," called this frightful time the tough fight on the mountains. As we will see, Greek resistance in this conflict, using the power of no, continues to inspire people today around the world to stand up and refuse to compromise with evil. By late 1940, the Axis powers had mostly taken over Europe. Poland was destroyed, France collapsed, and Denmark and Norway were crushed. Adolf Hitler's ally, Benito Mussolini, became jealous of his partner's many military successes. He wanted to restore the ancient Roman Empire's legacy. First, he invaded Albania, Greece's neighbor to the northwest. Then, at 3 a.m. on that crucial day of October 28, 1940, the phone rang at the office of the Greek Prime Minister, Ioannis Metaxas. The mysterious phone call was from the Italian ambassador in Athens. He told Metaxas that Greece must surrender and let the Italian army take over the country. The demand was not open for discussion, and if Greece did not agree, they would have to wage war. Metaxas said in a loud, firm voice, "Oihi." 2 hours later, war began. Italian troops stormed Greece's border with Albania. George Caousias, who was 17 at the time, living in the village of Karditsa, recalls.
I remember in my village they had the metropolis, the big church has a big bell, and normally when somebody dies, the bell rings, the bellman rings the big bell, dang, 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 3 times. And at the time then the war started, they rang the bell not only 3 times, but maybe 10 times.
However, a huge surprise fell for the entire world. The Greeks made an attack of their own, and the Italians had to retreat. The Greeks were so successful that they even moved onto land the Italians had held. In an interview in Greece, Yanni Vassilipoulou, who now was a 20-year-old soldier in the Greek army, remembers. When Hitler heard about Italy's embarrassment, he was very upset. This was going to delay his plans for the invasion of the Soviet Union. So, Hitler ordered the German army to invade Greece. Historians think that this delay may have led to the downfall of the Nazis, because Hitler's plans were ruined. The Nazis attacked Greece in April 1941. The Germans overwhelmed Greece, and it now came under occupation. From June 1941, Greece was occupied by Nazi forces. The Nazis imposed harsh rule if the Greeks cooperated with each other to defeat the Axis invaders. From 1941 to 1944, Greece suffered 3 long, grueling years of occupation. Life was brutal for civilians. In a letter to relatives in Florida, a Greek family wrote the following.
During the terrific war, I have lost everything. My home is burnt and everything was looted. Since then, I'm wandering around like a refugee, trying to make an honest living, which is very hard at present under the existing conditions in Greece and the threat and pressure of enemy propaganda. I am a nationalist and proud of it, and I will continue to serve my country.
The Greek economy suffered. The Germans and their Italian and Bulgarian allies took food and many other resources. The Greeks were left with little or nothing. In the winter famine of 1941 to 1942, 100,000 Greeks starved to death. The German occupiers were greedy. Instead of paying the Greek civilians for what they took, the Germans printed special worthless money. so that inflation would ruin the economy. The pioneering American woman journalist Betty Wasson, who was in Greece at this time, told the story of how a German soldier was buying a car and said to the person who was selling it that he would be back soon with the money because he had to get it from the printing press. For the Germans' own purposes, they swindled and defrauded the Greek economy. The Nazis wanted to remake Greek society. They brutally treated the Greeks and forced them to follow German demands. In 1943, almost all Greek Jews were deported to death camps, most to Auschwitz, where they were killed. This was part of the Nazis' plan to conquer all of Europe and control it under one empire using racism and genocide, which is the killing of a group of people. Greek society resisted the Nazi objectives. Greeks compromised and formed a big movement to defeat the Nazis and Italians. Even though Greek political parties had different views, they united to resist the occupation. Nationalists, communists, royalists, and Democrats compromised for now to fight the enemy. Historians estimate 1 in 10 Greeks died in the battle against the invaders.
My village was dominated by the partisans. And I remember that the partisans, they attacked one convoy of Germans. And the Germans, they brought in my village 5 prisoners and they hung them in the square.
Guerrilla forces banded together in the mountains. The mountains are incredibly rugged and a good place to hide. Crucially, Greek women and men fought side by side. Women were partisans, carried ammunition, and taught how to use weapons. American journalist Betty Wasson reported on the many roles women played.
Not only do they carry supplies, they are valuable as messengers, walking along the long routes between villages, coordinating the activities of scattered guerrilla bands. They are valuable too as sentries watching out for approaching patrols.
They had some big successes. They blew up the railway bridge between Athens and Thessaloniki and captured the German general in Crete. But the costs were great. The wartime folk song, The Children of Greece, summarized Greek experience.
Mothers are wandering in the streets and are searching for their children who promised to return when they were leaving at the station. But for those who are gone and are wrapped in glory, we should be happy, and none of us should ever cry. She should burn her sorrow. Children of Greece, who are fighting a tough fight on the mountains, with the branches of victory we are expecting you.
Στους δρόμους τριγυρνάνε οι μανάδες και κοιτάνε να την κρίσουνε.
This song showed how great the determination of the Greeks was in this conflict. However, not all Greeks were in the resistance. Some worried about the risks, and some even cooperated with the Germans out of fear or for profit. As Nazi Germany went down to defeat, different Greek resistance groups clashed over what sort of future Greece should have, and this brought a tragic civil war. Compromise would break down. In late 1944, the German forces retreated out of the country. Greeks were happy, but their country had been pillaged and was wrecked. Greeks would have to rebuild. In all the years that followed, right up to the present, Ohi Day is still remembered. It was made an official public holiday in Greece, with parades, music, and flags. Even Greek postage stamps remember the brave record of resistance. The Ohi Day story still influences people around the world to never give in to aggression. Even a recent defector from North Korea, Ji Sung-ho, was inspired by Greece's historic No in his own struggle for freedom. Father Alexander Karloutsis, the founder of the Ohi Day Foundation, explains the global impact of Ohi Day.
And so the uncompromising position of Greece was not simply that of Greece, but it was of the free world.
The biggest legacy of Ohi Day for present times is that Greek resistance shows all of us the power of standing up for what is right, even if conflict results, and not compromising your deepest values. True democracy requires sacrifice and courage.